In the quiet of the early morning, before the world awakens and long before the first package of the day leaves an Amazon warehouse, Jeff Bezos opens his eyes at a fixed time. There's no snooze button, no restless tossing. His body and mind are synchronized with discipline, an unshakable ritual carved over decades. Success, after all, is not built on chaos but on rhythm. His mornings are not about rushing. They are about control, about designing the day before the day designed him. He recalls the echoes of his dreams, tiny fragments of imagination that often hold the seeds of big ideas. The mind, in its most vulnerable state, whispers possibilities that the day will attempt to silence. Bezos listens carefully. He sits up, makes the bed, and with that small gesture, conquers the first battle of the day. A cold glass of water with a slice of lemon follows. It's not just hydration, it's a message to the body: freshness, clarity, renewal. He takes his vitamins, sometimes probiotics, knowing that the machinery of success runs best when fueled with precision. Then comes silence. He closes his eyes, not to sleep again, but to meditate. 10 minutes of mindfulness, steady breaths, a slowing of thought. This is not the Bezos you see in headlines. This is the quiet architect, fortifying his mind before the storms of decision-making arrive. When the meditation ends, his body demands movement. Sometimes yoga, sometimes light stretches, sometimes just enough to awaken the blood. He is not obsessed with intensity in the morning, but with awakening himself fully. There is discipline in the way he bends, breathes, moves, gentle yet intentional. Soon after, he steps into a cold shower. The icy rush shocks his senses, stripping away comfort and replacing it with clarity. The man who built Amazon thrives not by chasing ease, but by welcoming discomfort. Every drop of freezing water is a reminder. Growth begins where comfort ends. Wrapped in his robe, Bezos opens a notebook. Here, he practices what he calls right to feel and right to be. His journal is not a diary of the past, but a sculptor's chisel for the future. He writes down daily goals, gratitude for what is, and intention for what must come. He does not let the noise of emails or notifications dictate his direction. First, he creates clarity. Then, he engages with the world. And when he does engage, it is calculated. He reviews important emails only, avoiding the clutter of digital noise. His focus is sharp, surgical, like a laser cutting through fog. Before meetings, before the machinery of Amazon begins to roar, Bezos has already engineered his inner state. He reads sometimes a book, sometimes research, always something that sharpens him. Knowledge is his most reliable investment, and mornings are when he collects it. Breakfast is not indulgence but fuel. A high-protein plate, sometimes a smoothie, carefully chosen to sustain energy rather than drain it. He sits with loved ones, savoring connection before stepping into a day consumed by global scale. These conversations are not small talk. They are grounding rituals, a reminder that success without presence is empty. Family anchors him where ambition tries to drift. This is the unseen side of Jeff Bezos, the routine that whispers the secret behind Amazon's success. A morning not about extravagance, but about alignment. A billionaire who commands empires begins his day not with boardrooms or billions, but with silence, water, movement, and intention. Each ritual, small in isolation, extraordinary in sequence, becomes a code for clarity, a code for control, a code that anyone, anywhere, can choose to follow. Because the real secret is not the wealth itself, it's the way one awakens to the world. The sun is now climbing higher, spilling golden light into the room, but Jeff Bezos has already won half his day. His secret lies not in luck, nor even in genius alone, but in the invisible architecture of his mornings. Every decision is intentional, every ritual layered with meaning. He knows that energy is not limitless. The world will demand it, Amazon will drain it, investors will expect it. But here early in the morning he decides where his energy belongs. He does not open social media. He does not allow notifications to hijack his state of mind. Digital noise is the modern thief of focus, and Bezos guards his attention like treasure. Instead, he glances at his carefully curated list of priorities. 3 things, no more. He knows success is not doing everything, it is doing the right things. He writes them down again in his journal, anchoring thought into action. He writes not only what he must achieve, but how he must feel while achieving it. That is the hidden layer of his journaling, right to feel, right to be. He is not just chasing tasks, he is shaping identity. In this quiet, he often revisits gratitude, not the shallow kind, but the grounding one. Gratitude that he can wake without alarm clocks screaming. Gratitude for family breakfasts. Gratitude for the privilege to choose his pace. And this gratitude does something profound. It disarms anxiety. It creates a calm certainty in a man who must carry the weight of millions of employees, billions of customers, and an empire that never sleeps. Then comes reading. The books on his table are not random. They are a mirror into the mind of a man obsessed with progress, history, science, business psychology, technology. Bezos absorbs them not just for knowledge, but for perspective. Books slow him down, reminding him that the greatest ideas of humanity were not built overnight. In those pages, he finds both humility and boldness. Humility to accept that he is part of a bigger timeline. Boldness to contribute something lasting. And while he reads, his breakfast waits. It is rarely extravagant. Eggs, lean protein, sometimes a smoothie rich in nutrients. No heavy carbs to weigh him down, no sugar to spike and crash his mind. This is fuel, not entertainment. He eats slowly, often with his children, or simply enjoying the silence. In these moments, the man who created Amazon is just a father, a human, someone grounding himself before stepping into the whirlwind. The clarity of the morning ensures that by the time meetings begin, Bezos is not reactive, he is proactive. Where others stumble into their inboxes, chasing problems, he has already written his day into existence. He does not let the world decide who he must be today. He decides, then acts. The morning is his secret weapon. The empire is just its reflection. Imagine, for a moment, if this code was not locked behind wealth. What if anyone could follow it? To wake with discipline, to move with purpose, to eat with thought, to write with clarity, to read with curiosity, and to give time to gratitude. This is the untold truth. The morning routine of Jeff Bezos is not about being extraordinary. It is about being consistent. Extraordinary results come later. The cold shower, the journal, the 3 priorities, the lemon water, all of these are tools. But the essence is deeper. Control. Control over mind, body, and emotion. Because if a man cannot control his mornings, how can he control a trillion-dollar company? And yet, in this simplicity, there is power. Jeff Bezos doesn't start his day scrolling aimlessly. He doesn't surrender his focus to chaos. Instead, he engineers silence, clarity, energy, and connection. And in doing so, he designs not just his day, but his destiny. As the morning unfolds into late hours, Jeff Bezos is already several steps ahead, not because he rushes, but because he designs. His philosophy of mornings is less about speed and more about alignment. He understands what most people forget: when the morning is right, the day unfolds like a well-written symphony. By the time the sun is high, he has already protected his energy, sharpened his focus, and set intentions that ripple into every meeting, every conversation, and every decision. One of his quietest but most powerful rituals is reflection. Bezos often revisits his journal, sometimes adding a note, sometimes revising his goals for the day. It is here that he practices right to feel and right to be at a deeper level. He doesn't just ask, "What must I do today?" He asks, "Who must I be today?" The man who envisions rockets reaching beyond Earth cannot afford to stumble through his morning unfocused. By asking these questions early, he builds not only productivity but identity. This clarity flows into his role as a leader. Amazon is not just a company. It is a living system with millions of moving parts. Without clarity, chaos would reign. But Bezos enters his work already centered, already decisive. He does not arrive in reaction, he arrives in creation. That is why his mornings are sacred. They are where leadership is forged. Away from the cameras, away from applause. Even moments with his loved ones feed into this clarity. Sharing breakfast, laughing with children, or a simple conversation with family are not distractions, they are grounding forces. They remind him that ambition is meaningless without connection. For Bezos, the morning is not only about building Amazon, but about building himself as a father, a partner, a human being, who can balance the extraordinary weight of his empire with the ordinary joys of life. And when he finally transitions into the day's demands, the difference shows. While others drown in inboxes and scramble through chaos, Bezos moves like a strategist who already knows the map. He does not waste mornings on digital noise. He invests them in clarity. That single choice separates visionaries from the distracted masses. The beauty of his morning routine is that it is not built on luxury. Cold showers, lemon water, mindful breathing, stretching, journaling, these are available to anyone. They do not cost billions, but they build billion-dollar clarity. And perhaps that is the greatest hidden message in his routine. Success is not built on secrets, but on systems. Anyone willing to live with discipline can taste the psychology of a billionaire's life. By night, the world sees Jeff Bezos, the mogul, the disruptor, the tycoon. But every empire he commands begins in the silence of dawn. When a man chooses to make his bed, to sip water with lemon, to breathe deeply, to write intentions, to eat with family, and to step under the ice-cold rush of a shower, Amazon's secret is not only in its algorithms or warehouses. It is in the rhythm of a morning, designed with intention. This is why, when we ask about the secret behind Amazon's success, the answer is not only strategy or innovation. It is the unseen morning ritual of its founder, the discipline to create calm before chaos, the wisdom to shape focus before distraction, the courage to step into discomfort before comfort dulls the edge. For those watching, this story is more than biography, it is a blueprint. If the world's richest man can ground himself with simple rituals, so can we. Because the real difference is not in resources, but in consistency. Jeff Bezos did not stumble into success. He woke up for it every single day.